Yo, what's good? This is my first design YouTube video that I'm trying out. And yeah, hope you guys like it. Today we're gonna be redesigning the new DaBaby cover art. The song's called Masterpiece, and this is the actual cover art for it. I guess, all credit to the original designer. This isn't exactly my style, so I want to try to do my own version of it. And yeah, so that's what we're gonna do today, live, so you can watch exactly how I do it. Okay, so first up here is just gonna be giving it black background, pretty basic. And let's start with the types. This font I really like, called Black Forest. And it's actually a free font. I think I got it on DaFont of all places. Yeah, so let's start. This song is called Masterpiece. So type that out. Just gonna quickly do some kerning to make it look a little more even. Right now it seems like these letters are a little more like heavy to on the right side of the word, so I'm gonna give these a little bit space individually. You can probably fast forward through this. So next what I'm gonna do is add this kind of chrome layer style that I really like. And I actually just have this layer style like saved into my layer styles, but this is something, if you're not following me from Instagram and you find this like from TikTok, I offer a whole like bunch of design resources on my site, and like included is a retro font pack, bunch of like layer style templates, and also like some retro poster textures for your designs. So this is the chrome layer style, and it's really nice. You can just, it's literally like one click, and then you can tweak it a little bit. Zoom in when we tweak it. Well, first let's get the color actually. So I want this to be gold, so it kind of takes influence from the original art, something like around here. And you got to tweak this layer style a little bit to your liking. So stuff around here works. We can also tweak that again in a sec, but now let's tweak the bevel settings. So I think what I'm gonna do here is make the size a little bit smaller. Let's not have it as soft, so it's kind of like harder edges. And then let's see, can mess with the depth a little bit. Now let's go back to the colors. Oh, you know what? Also, you can change the opacity of the, yeah, there we go, of the highlights and shadows. So I'm gonna make these like really intense, just so you can see the effect, because it's gonna be kind of small, so you want to be able to see it from a distance. And that's another thing to remember when you're designing cover art, is like, for the most part, people are gonna be seeing it pretty small, so you have to make sure you're not making just tiny, tiny details are good because you will see them obviously when you zoom out, but like tiny details, you got to make sure that it's actually visible from a like further distance. So I'm kind of liking how that's looking right now. Yeah, so that's good for the text. And now I want to incorporate a picture frame, also from the original, just to reference back there. I found a good stock photo of a picture frame. Cool, so I'm dropping in this picture frame PNG that I found. I think it looks pretty good. And it's kind of like the style we want, like that art gallery, kind of like super bougie, nice frame. And for some reason it's got this white in the middle, so let's get rid of that. Just use the magic wand tool, select and mask to refine. That looks pretty good to me already, but and then we can actually just mask this. So what I like to do is just select what you don't want, then inverse, which will make it so that what's selected is what you do want. And then you just hit this mask button right here, and then boom, gets rid of that middle part. And we can actually, the good thing about doing it that way is that you can still refine it. So you can see there's like a little bit of stuff on the side that we want to get rid of. So let's just do this radius, increase this a little bit. And now if you see it's gone, up the contrast, hit OK, and then boom, we fix that. Now we just have our frame. So what we want to do here now is to match the colors of the frame to the lettering. So there's a few different ways to do this. I think what I want to try right now is to use a gradient map, because I think it's a really good tool to know and use. And yeah, so that's what I'm going to try here is, and we'll have like a lot of control over exactly what color this frame is. So what I'm going to do is add the gradient map, and I'm going to create a clipping mask so that it only applies to the frame. And then, so how a gradient map works is you can pretty much remap dark to light what colors you want. So for example, the darkest colors here are going to be black, and the darkest color, and the lightest colors are going to be white. So right now it just looks black and white, but you'll see what it does in a second once we start adding new colors. I'm going to use the color picker tool to sample the 3D text. So we want the darkest to be about as dark as it is on here. Let's try to find like the darkest spot we can. We might have to manually make it a little bit darker too, like just like a deeper color. So right now the darkest colors are going to be that kind of deep orange. Now the mids, we want a little bit of this lighter orange, so we can use the color picker tool again. Get sort of that orangish that the middle colors are. I want to incorporate a little bit more yellow, so let's find something that's a little more yellow on here. We want the lightest parts to be white, so the cool thing is you can actually drag it, and if you can see on the left side of the frame, you're seeing like a lot more of that the effect happening. I'm going to move everything pretty much over to the left a little bit. Okay, cool. So let's zoom out and see what that did. Good. So now like the frame is a lot more closer to the color of the text. I'm going to tweak it a little bit more, this gradient. I want this to be a little deeper. So now I think these colors kind of match the frame and the gradient. Now I'm going to do another adjustment layer. And that's going to control the brightness and contrast of everything. So I'm going to jack that contrast up, turn this down a little bit, and then good. Yeah, so we have this that controls all the colors together. Can even do a little bit of hue saturation, or actually color bounce might work here. And now let's have that just apply to the frame / text mask. Cool. So now I just want to line up this text with the frame. Sweet. That's nice and lined up. So now I want to add like a little bit of an art kind of label, something you'd see in a museum with like the song title and DaBaby's name and stuff. So this is the reference I'm going off of. It's pretty much just Helvetica with a bunch of like little details. So we're just gonna come down here. And let's create our little tag. And then on the tag, we're going to use Helvetica Bold, like I said. That seems to be like the standard tag font. And we're going to do DaBaby. And parentheses, we're going to do 2021. That's when it came out. Let's make this a little smaller. We're going to make this a lighter weight. Let's track this in. Then underneath, it seems like they do the title of the piece. And then we can quickly look up the like label details and stuff like that, so we can add as like a little detail. All right, cool. So I found some of the details from the song just like by looking on Spotify. Just gonna drag it up here for reference so I can type it out. And this is just being like a nice little cool detail that like if anyone zooms in, they'll notice, but obviously most people won't, but I like that kind of thing. Okay, let's put that little P symbol. I don't know what that means. I think it's like the reserved thing except for music specifically. Okay, let's see if I even have it. We could just substitute it with like the R copyright thing. Cool. Okay, we're getting closer. Tag looks cool. Let's see what it looks like when we zoom out now. Also, we can add a little bit of a texture to this card, and I'll use my texture pack like that's on my site that I mentioned earlier. I have this nice paper one. Yeah, this one. We'll make it a lot smaller, but for right now, yeah, I'm gonna group this art label together, create a clipping mask, and then set this to multiply so you can see all the darker pieces below. And let's also make this a lot smaller because it's huge right now. Yeah, so it adds like a nice little paper detail. Cool, so that's looking good. I'm gonna add a bit of a outline with the layer style on this with the stroke tool. Outside, and we can sample like one of the colors from the art from the frame. And then let's make that position center so that's not cool. Let's zoom out and see how that looks. I think that can be thinner. Cool, and I think the whole thing can be a little bit smaller. Okay, cool, now it looks like a little bit of art. Let's mess with the placement. Could it look good over there? Over here? Let's just center everything, center align everything for this one. Okay, cool, so now we have pretty much like the main portion of our design. I'm gonna group all this together, just call it main design. Now I wanna include so on the original art, there's like the parental advisory at the bottom, so let's do a cool version of that. And what I'm gonna do is click off contiguous, because that means it'll select anything that's that color. It doesn't even need to be connected, so all the white is selected right now. And then we're also going to select the text that's in the middle. You'll see what I mean in one sec. And then we're gonna hit this mask button because that'll get rid of everything that's not selected. And then with a layer style, boom, now we have that. And we can select the color from the picture frame. So now zoom out, and then boom, we have a nice little parental advisory there. And now I'm just gonna work on the layout a little bit. Center align everything. Now let's zoom out. Okay, I think that's looking pretty cool. I just wanna now edit the colors a little bit. And also I'm considering now trying to do a gradient map of the whole thing, so let's try it out. Kind of looks cool black and white like this. Let's see if something like this could work. I'm gonna mess around with the gradient map. The cool thing is like you can do really cool effects, like you can reverse it and stuff like that. I think any of this could work.
I'm gonna keep this.
Sweet, so I'm gonna do now kind of some last final steps just to get everything looking good together. I'm gonna switch up the parental advisory color just a little bit so it matches better, like this kind of orange, darker orangish color. So yeah, a way I really like to work is just honestly like once I have my design down, I'll just start adding adjustment layers and tweaking colors and everything because I think it's a lot quicker, and I don't know, I just like that workflow. And I want to kind of just like blow out these like white spots a little bit more. And another really important thing that I always love to do is just adding a grain layer. So what that's gonna do is just like make everything look a little bit more real. So what I like to do is just like fill layer, black, add noise. Monochromatic works. I think it'll work well here. So let's just do that. And then literally all you have to do is just set it to soft light. And then if you see, that adds like this nice little grain. And like when you zoom out, it looks better, but you can also, what I like to do is just like turn the opacity down. So it's like more of a subtle effect. It just makes it look like more realistic, like film grain kind of vibe. I think that's looking good. And now some final layout stuff. Something I like to do is let's just group this. I'm gonna duplicate it, convert to smart object. And then on this top layer, we can add like a bit of a haze by doing this. We can go Gaussian blur. And then look, you get that like nice glow effect. And we're gonna obviously like turn it down a little bit so it's not as hazy. Gives you like that nice, like it literally looks like it's kind of like photographed or something. Yeah, is that down there too? Yeah, and then the grain kind of like just makes it look all really good together. And so some final like experimental stuff that I like to do is just add a gradient map on top. It's almost like remixing like your final artwork. I also want to see what this would look like with white on the background. I think it could look pretty cool. And that's the cool thing about like the way I like to design is just like experimenting. That is actually really clean. Let me know in the comments actually what you guys like, black or white. I'm weirdly now thinking I like this better. Let's see what the parental advisory looks like in black too. Ooh, that's kind of clean. I think I still like it this color, but I think I actually like this white. I don't know, it just like looks blown out, but let's see. Let's see what happens when I start adding a gradient map on top. and messing around with colors. That's cool. Silver is cool. Let's see if we do kind of like a similar color to what we had. Like that, but let's reverse it. That's a cool look. And you can really do anything, like there's just so many options, but I think for right now we'll say this is the final. It's super minimal, obviously, like you could definitely put stuff inside, but I think it's something that would work cool. You know, there's like a lot of applications for this. Like you could put stuff inside the frame. You could use it as like, I don't know, maybe like an Instagram filter could be really cool, like incorporating this frame when they're doing like promotion for this song. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. This is my first video doing this. You can DM me on Instagram for a lot of the assets that I use. For example, like the Chrome layer style and a lot of the fonts I like to use. And yeah, all the links below are to like my different social medias. I'm really active on TikTok and Instagram, and yeah, go follow me on there. I also stream live on Twitch, so like I'll be like doing something like this, and you can actually just ask me questions or give me suggestions while I'm designing. But yeah, go check those out and stay tuned for more videos. I'm actually even going to be doing music stuff too in the future. So yeah, I'm excited to get started. Sweet. Let me know what you guys think. Bye-bye.
I think I just got